Now lastly, I just want to tell you, how do we communicate with the user? Please try to understand that IT industry is a communication industry. Most of the projects fail to meet their objectives because of poor communication between the various stakeholders of the project. So I want to share some guidelines for communication. Whenever we go for a requirements elicitation session, please approach the session with a positive attitude. You may feel, I am just a system analyst and he is the CEO of a company. What information will he share? Maybe he is too busy. But if you go with a negative attitude, you will not get much information from that session. Always go with a positive attitude. Secondly, set the other person at ease. This is also an art. Whenever we want to become friends, we have to set the other person at ease. Maybe say something nice about his company, about himself, about the weather, about in general things, so that the person feels comfortable talking to you. And thirdly, let them know you are listening. We don't go for requirements elicitation for talking. We go basically to listen. So you talk less and let the client or let the stakeholder talk more, and you do more of the listening. Ask questions at appropriate intervals of time. Don't ask too many questions, otherwise the concerned person may feel that this is too much, I cannot answer these questions. So ask questions, ask relevant questions at appropriate points of time. Let him do the talking, you do the listening. Next, please don't assume anything. In IT industry, we do not assume anything about projects. So if you have a doubt, ask the customer. Note it down and seek his approval. Don't assume that he requires a report. Don't assume that he doesn't require this feature. Clarify everything by communicating with the user. And last but not the least, always take down notes. It's a good habit to write down notes of all the conversation you have had with the customer, because these notes will be there as a reference when you want to go back and check something about the project. And lastly, I would just like to quote this: to hear is to recognize that someone is speaking. To hear is to recognize that someone is speaking. To listen is to understand what the speaker wants to communicate. To listen is to understand what the speaker wants to communicate. So when we are in a session and we are communicating with the user, our objective is to listen and to understand what the speaker wants to communicate. And if you are able to understand and if you are able to listen, I think you will be a very good system analyst. I hope this session was useful for you, and I wish you all the best for your bright future. Thank you for your time.